Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel, YouTube Worldwide. First and foremost, I want to give thanks to the Most High for allowing everything possible and for allowing me to get to work safely to give you this content. Well, I want to give you part 2 of why I started my tax business. First, I want to give thanks to Skylar for correcting me. I misspelled started, and she corrected me, so I made that adjustment. I want to give shout outs also to ABF for always supporting the channel. You know, I really appreciate you, bro. I really appreciate you. And yes, starting a business is the American dream. You know, it's a extra income, and that's another thing. You know, I have a job. Everybody knows, you know, I work for FedEx, and that's something that I always knew I was gonna stay with, because at the time when they was promoting, you know, working for yourself, you know, kind of like quit your job and, you know, working for yourself, that's a good thing, but I would not suggest for anybody to quit their job. If you're gonna quit your job, you have to make sure that your side hustle or your legitimate business is making more than what you're making now, you know. So I've never preached that. Always don't quit your day job. All right, don't quit your day job. That's one thing. All right, so like I said, if your side hustle or your business exceeds how much you make tenfold, I'm gonna say tenfold, because, you know, you have to pay, you know, health insurance for yourself if you're gonna become an entrepreneur. All right, that's one thing. But I'm going to give you the reason, what was the nugget, why I chose the tax preparation business. But first, I'm gonna backtrack again. I'm gonna go back to my tax preparer, my old tax preparer. She used to prepare my taxes. Rest in peace to Patty. You know, she passed away 2 years ago, and I always remember her. You know, she used to do my taxes. When I first started working for FedEx, you know, I think even before I started working for FedEx, I didn't know what a W-2 was. And once I started doing my taxes, when she started doing my taxes, I think that first year I owed money, and I told Pat, I don't want to owe the IRS money. You know, can you help me with what I have to do, so that way at the end of the year I could get something back? And she told me, Michael, all you got to do is adjust your W-4. I'll help you do that. And she did that for me. Ever since, I've never owed the IRS money. That's one thing I always tell my clients. That's the goal. It's not to owe the money. You always want to get a refund. All right, so I want to say rest in peace to Pat. That's number one. And every time I prepare taxes, I always remember Pat. Pat used to always be excited. She used to always watch the Australian Open, which is a tournament in tennis. And every time, for some reason, every time I do taxes, and then that comes, tax season is always around the Australian Open. And I always remember Pat. You know, I remember, you know, when she was alive, you know, I used to always call her for advice. You know, and she used to always tell me, Michael, always do the right thing when it comes to taxes, because there's a lot of people doing the wrong things, and that's what I put my pride in. I do everything the right way. But anyways, I'm gonna go back to the nugget. Oh, the reason why I brought up Pat, this is the reason why I brought up Pat, because when it comes to tax preparation, a lot of people, they want to get their taxes done by somebody in the neighborhood, and they don't pay them. That's the reason why I brought up Pat, and that's the reason why I'm gonna give you what the nugget that made me decide to do tax preparation. Well, Patty used to always tell me, every time I used to get my W-2, I used to always call Pat, I got my W-2, I'm coming tonight to give you my W-2, and I'm paying you. So I used to always pay Pat right before she even did my taxes, because that's just the way I work. And she used to always tell me, oh, this person owes me. When I used to always tell her, Pat, don't do their taxes, because they always want you to do their taxes, and they always tell you they're gonna pay her when they get their refund, and they never do. They always get lost, you know. So, but what the nugget that sold me in was bank product. When he explained what bank product was, where there's certain banks that the IRS deal with, like First Republic Bank. I deal with Refundo, where you don't have to pay me in cash. You could, it's gonna come out of your refund. So how that works is the IRS, once your refund is approved, they send me my portion for the tax preparation, and then they send you the difference. So like, let's say if you get a refund of $5,000, and I charge $300, they're gonna send me my $300, and then they're gonna send you the difference, which is $4,700. All right, that's what sold me in. I was like, oh, okay, I could deal with that, because when you're dealing with people, like let's say for instance Pat, rest in peace, I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to deal with people telling me, oh, I'm gonna pay you when I get my refund, and then when they get their refund, you got to chase them down. So that's what sold me into the tax preparation. So when I heard that, I was all in. And it's been good ever since. And it's a good feature having a bank product. There's Refundo, there's First Republic, and there's Refund Advantage. That's 3 bank products that the IRS deal with. So it's 5, but I don't know the other 2. But I deal with Refund Advantage, and I deal with Refundo. So that's what sold me in. And I remember when I told my wife, I was like, babe, I'm starting a business. I remember clear as day, we was having dinner together, and then I told her about it. And then when we went to the conference, she was convinced. She was like, okay, you know what? My wife knows, because even when I was with her, I was always hustling, doing this, doing that, just to make some extra change, doing this, doing that, before we put a down payment on the house. So this is, a legitimate business. I love it. And this is something where I know, God willing, when I retire, I have something to fall back on, because I'm building up my clientele. So that way, when I retire in 11 years, God willing, I'll be retiring in 11 years in this company. And by the time I retire, I should be making the same income in that 4-month period from January to April that I'm making the whole year here at FedEx. So that's my goal. My goal is to retire and fall back and have my tax business in a position where I'll be making the same amount of money that I make here, and collect my 401k and Social Security, whatever they give, or my pension. That's gonna be, God willing, the income that I will be falling back on once I retire from here. So that's the reason why I started my tax preparation business, because of that, the bank product. And I just want to say rest in peace to Pat. You are always on my mind. Every time I prepare taxes, I get excited the way she used to get excited when she used to do my taxes. I love it. It's helping people. What we do, our job is to assist you with your taxes, because we know tax law. So we know the credits that you're supposed to be getting and things like that. So that's why, I love the business. I love to help people. That's what I do. All right, friends and family, have a blessed day. And God willing, I come back with some more content the end of this week, with week 3 of the $1, $2, 52-week challenge vacation sinking fund.